This is Mike Tatarsky, host of the Vietnam Weekly podcast and author of the Vietnam Weekly newsletter, coming to you from rainy Ho Chi Minh City. Even as Vietnam's dynamic economic growth continues year after year, there are still people who need a bit of help to move up in the world. There are many organizations working in different parts of the country to provide such assistance, and one I've followed for years now is Saigon Children, formerly known as Saigon Children's Charity. Longtime listeners may recall my COVID lockdown era conversation with Damian Roberts, Saigon Children's executive director, while Damian returned to the show with one of his colleagues in March 2024 to talk about the evolution of charity work here in Vietnam. Their work continues in many ways, including the first You Go Far charity bike ride from Phnom Penh to Ho Chi Minh City, organized last December in partnership with the international charity YouGo and ISF Cambodia. That ride generated over $50,000 in donations for female students, both in Cambodia and Vietnam. And the second edition is coming up in November from Can Tho to Kampot. Today's guest is Van Vuong, the organization's head of fundraising and communication and a key leader of this effort. We discussed the YouGo program and Saigon Children's involvement, the first YouGo Far ride mentioned last year, and Van's experience as both an organizer and a participant. She did the ride herself. Meeting scholarship recipients along the way, ensuring transparency during a fundraising campaign, where ones like this aren't very common in Vietnam, goals for the upcoming second ride, and more. As always, if you have any comments, feedback, or guest ideas, get in touch at matatarsky@gmail.com. Let's get to my conversation with Van. Van, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you.
So I guess just to start, I was wondering if you could kind of describe what the YouGo program is and what its goals are.
So YouGo actually a non-profit based in the US and just founded like 3 years ago by a group of leaders with a very simple, powerful belief of opportunity should be as universal as talent. So the program will provide university scholarships to bright, motivated young women from low-income countries because they believe when one woman is educated, the impact multiplies across her family and communities. And their model is very straightforward. With about $800, you can support one scholar for a full year at universities. And YouGo does this by working closely with trusted local partners across 9 countries. And Saigon Children is one of their partners in Vietnam. And YouGo program does not only give scholarships, but also offer mentorship, life skill training, and a sense of belonging to a community of scholars. And the scale has been very impressive. Just within 3 years, right now, there are more than 4,300 YouGo scholars across 9 countries and almost 2,000 joining every year. Actually, last year, the success rate also extraordinary. Over 98% of scholars have kept advancing in their studies year after year. YouGo also created leadership programs and AI readiness training to prepare young women for the future of work. And I think the real impact show in the stories. And in Vietnam, hundreds of young women who once feared they would have to give up education are now pursuing like medicine, teaching, and technology. And they're already giving back to their community as well.
That's great. And how did Saigon Children become a partner with them?
That is a very long and interesting story. If you have time for that.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
So actually, we received an email to require information about our scholarship program. Saigon Children has been working in education for more than 30 years, and scholarship is one of our key programs. So back then, we just received an email from like someone unknown to ask like, okay, want to support scholarship program, want to partner with you. Can I learn more about the program, how you operate, and those things like that. And because it's just an email from a Gmail mailbox, so I just
Mhm.
reply all the questions. And along the way, I know that is something quite real, like someone is planning to do something um quite big together. But by that time, actually, Hugo hasn't been officially established yet. So the person who was in contact with me was like, I appreciate all of your patience and sharing all of the details, but unfortunately, I'm not in the position to share the detail with you what we are about and what
Oh.
we do yet. So, but as a fundraiser and working in education for years, I believe that that is also our responsibility to be transparent to anyone. When they ask about our program, what we are doing. So that is our responsibility to the community and society. So I just keep the conversation going on for, I think, about a year without really knowing what is going on. And then
Mm.
up to a point, I think after they kind of established officially in the US, and they kind of did all of the due diligence with us. I remember even one time, the person who was in contact with me was like, "Vâng, we reached the final stage, so I only need a reference for your organization to kind of complete all of the due diligence." But because I don't know who they are, so actually I couldn't ask any of my existing donor to become the reference, to give the reference.
Right.
So I had to do one thing. So I searched online to see if any former donor, personal uh contribute, volunteer with us that happen to list our organization publicly on their profile anywhere that you can check
Mhm.
online. And I finalized by some of them did that. They just happily share about the experience of contribution to Saigon Children publicly on LinkedIn.
Mm.
And so I share the profile because these are public information with the person I talked to and see and I was like, let's see if any of them happen to be a person that is kind of eligible for the
Right.
preference. And the person I talked to, managed to get to one or two of them, just call and reach out again to ask about Saigon Children. So that is how the reference is done. Quite very interesting story. And that is how we started with Hugo. And at the beginning, I think they only have 3 or 4 partners, and we
Uh-huh.
are one of them.
Okay, well, it's good that I guess it's good that you replied to that random Gmail message to start.
Yeah, we always answer to any emails or requests we receive because I think that is also a charity responsibility.
Yeah, and then I suppose the partnership really kicked off last year with the first You Go Far cycling ride to raise funds for charity, which went from Phnom Penh to here in Ho Chi Minh City over a few days last December. And I mean, you took part in the ride. So what was it? I guess what was the experience like on the ride, and what was it like, actively taking part in a fundraising effort for the organization that you work for?
Actually, the our partnership with Hugo started about 4 years ago
Ah, right.
already.
Okay.
Yeah, but the ride just started last year was the first one. So after one of the meeting with all of the Hugo partners that we have, I happened to connect with their partner in Cambodia, another non-profit, UK register as well. And we just found out we have so many similarities. The way we work with the children and also the similarities among the stories of the scholars. So we decided let's do something together, and we are neighboring countries. So to make it something easier to do cross-border cycling. So that is how the idea started. So it was the first one last year. Um, and the experience, to be honest, is a very special one to me. As a fundraiser, I always encourage my team and anyone new to the field, the fundraising field, to try being a donor and a fundraiser themselves, at least one.
Hmm.
not necessarily to your own organization, but for any cause close to your heart, because only then you do truly understand on the nerve, the excitement, and the joy that come with it. So I remember my first time doing a fundraising for Saigon Children at a personal level was for my birthday during the lockdown.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we come up with a lot of idea and try a lot of new things during the lockdown,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
So by that time, I set a quite modest goal, and within only one single day, I the goal was surpassed by friends, family. Even though it's modest, but I was quite overwhelmed. Because I even received the donation from people I hadn't been in touch for years. So
Mhm.
it's a feeling of like love and support. When you have like people support the cause that you believe in and reconnect with people, so that memory still stay with me. So fast forward to the last year with the You Go Far Ride. So because we came up with the ideas, we want to work together, and we also because the partner in Cambodia is also a female, like a female CEO. So we were like, okay, let's do something. What about a challenge fundraising? But because we are not very like used to the very traditional challenge of fundraising, very hard one. To challenge yourself. So we was like, let's design something a bit more friendlier to women, to the beginners. So they won't feel too intimidated by the
Yeah.
challenging, real challenging fundraising challenge. So I has been sailing for long distance before, not mentioning the cross border. So I was quite nervous, basically, for to take on the
Yeah.
challenge myself. And also for the fundraising, I'm nervous as well, even as a professional fundraiser, because fundraising through a challenge like personal challenge is still quite a new concept in Vietnam. So for birthday, yes, we understand dedicating wish and gift to the one you love. That's sailing hundreds of kilometers for donation. That takes a lot of explaining. Even for my friends, someone close to me, they was like, "What? Why you are cycling? Why am I donating? What I'm donating to?"
Right.
So I was nervous, but because of all the nerve, the experience become quite memorable. It was incredible, I would say. It's my first time in all the way, and every small donation, every story from the scholar, every rider cheering each other on. So during 3 days together, we like every day at the end of the day, we all check out our fundraising page and like, okay, we got new donations. So all that moment, like it came together and make things feel bigger than just a fundraising. It's kind of like a happiness, I would say. The connection for purpose, the joy of seeing people like joining together for the girls' education.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can speak to that personally a little bit. I mean, it's been over 10 years, but I did cycle from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City a couple of times for a charity. I mean, Saigon Children was one of the beneficiaries, and I agree. It was always nice to in the evening look at, oh, we got some more donations today, so that is a very good feeling. But you mentioned, along the way you met some of the Yugo scholars, I guess in Cambodia and Vietnam. What was that like?
So because I was one of the people who planned the trip, and I kind of like want to give the fundraiser the real experience, like why we are doing that and what we want to achieve. So we decide to arrange a meeting up with scholars in Cambodia and in Vietnam as well. So in Cambodia,
Mhm.
we before we started the ride, we met with a Yugo scholar of Cambodia over there at the center to listen to their stories, even though there was language barriers because not all of them are fluent in English. but I think the rider has a chance to understand like the stories and actually they couldn't like communicate comfortably along the way, but somehow everyone is still very happy, getting the order what they're saying. And the scholar was actively seeking for advice as well, like because they just see like all the riders, some are female, and the only thing like, okay, you're female and you are cycling across border is something very adventurous to them, to the young scholar. So they seek for advice in life, and even language is still a barrier, but we managed to understand everyone somehow. And I think it was one of the happiest moments as well. I still have the photo of that day. And then when we arrived in Ho Chi Minh City on the third day, some of the Hugo scholars from Vietnam came to celebrate with us after achievement. So yeah, on the rider finished the ride. We didn't give up along the way. Yeah, and I think nothing better than like celebrate that with the scholar, the recipient of the scholarship that you are raising fund for.
Yeah, and I suppose meeting some of the recipients that perhaps helps with transparency or accountability with the campaign. What does that look like, and how do you kind of you mentioned you would have friends asking where is this money going? How do you kind of ensure transparency?
So for us at the organizer, so we publish a final number of how many scholarship we were able to fundraise during the ride, and the allocation, and also the Hugo commitment to match that one on one. So I don't remember the number. I can provide that later, but we kind of like published the number. And personally, because I'm used to do fundraising, so personally, I also did my personal report to all of the friends and families, people that donated to my fundraising, about like how much money we raised together. And because all of the money was transferred directly to Saigon Children, it's not like through my personal bank account whatsoever. So I think it's quite transparent. And that this scholarship will be for this upcoming school year. So I think once then, if anyone is interested in the details, we can also share like which like the offer scholars have benefited from the scholarship we raised last year.
Yeah, I'll get some of that information after, and I can put it in the show notes for when this is published. And I mean, sticking with the ride last year, you mentioned before this you weren't really a cyclist or hadn't been cycling. I mean, I guess obviously there was some physical challenge, but what were some of the other bigger challenges with the ride?
So because I had never done the long distance cycling before, so I think I just started the training about like 1 month before the ride.
Oh
I
wow.
knew that I need to start it earlier, but I didn't manage to do that. So blame on me, on my time management. And then just 1 month before the ride, I try my best. I like cycle every night after work. And one breaking about a fundraiser also is a change for me because I a little bit of nervous because of the physical challenge as well. So I asked my girlfriend to join me. So the ride actually gave us a chance to kind of like schedule the training together because we know
Oh
both
nice.
of us we know that we need to do more training.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that gives us a chance to like meet more frequently than we usually do. Uh,
Hmm.
and I think the biggest one is only about 1 week or 10 days before the official ride started. So because I try to replace my motorbike with my bicycle whenever I go anywhere during that week. So I cycle to one of the school supported by Saigon Children here in Ho Chi Minh City. And I remember it was rainy day and the street in front of the school are under construction. So all of the rock and things. But I'm not very good at like control the bike at that time, even though it's only 1 week left. And I was a little bit fast, so I fell just like right in front of the school gate.
Oh
So
no.
all the kids was like, "What are you doing here?" They all seeing me like lying on the street, It's yeah, with my bag next to me. So I have a scratch on my elbow, on my knee. So I couldn't ride anymore for the whole long week, and I just tried to keep myself still, so the wound would have time to heal.
Yeah.
So I still have like the shot until the first day of the ride. It's a little bit uncomfortable when you move, like the elbow or the knee, but it's manageable. So I thought that was my biggest challenge physically. But when I post stories about like how I felt and what happened after that, I managed to raise more money.
Yeah, that does help. Yeah, that's a good story. I mean, it's good you were still able to do it, obviously. So there's another, I guess the second You Go Far ride is coming up in November, this time from Kanpo to Kampot in Cambodia, over the course of 2 or 3 days. I guess are you doing the ride again this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll do it again this time. So actually, the ride, I feel like for the first one, I feel like was my baby, like a baby. So I from designing the route, planning, implementation. So I really want to see how it worked out for everyone
Mm.
and learn from my real experience last year.
Hmm.
Like how the road is, how logistics works for everyone or not, any issue. Like actually people get lost along the way, one issue
Oh,
last year. Yeah,
okay.
in Cambodia. So that is something to remind us about like how to improve the logistics. Even though it's just lost for like 10 or 15 minutes, but it's
Mm.
still something to take into consideration for the improvement this year. So I will write again this year with another group. So it's different than last year, and hopefully will bring better experience for everyone because we believe this is more beautiful route and to a more out of big city of both countries. So you can see more of the daily life of the people and how actually when neighboring countries kind of living together at the border areas.
And I mean, are there specific, is there like a number you hope to raise, or Saigon Children hopes to raise through the ride, or is it kind of see how much you can fundraise?
Last year we was quite close to our target of 50K. So really hope this year we can pass the target.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, $50,000, right? Okay, yeah, that's very impressive. So how can I mean, is it still open to registration, or is the group already full?
It's still open for
Okay.
registration, and we would welcome anyone at different level of experience, from beginners like me last year. We still, I actually last year I managed to finish all of the cycling except for about 10 kilometers. Just to be transparent, one of the toughest part like rocky road and at noon like 12. So by that time, I thought like, wow, it's quite challenged and it's on the first day. So I want to make sure that I'll be able to finish the ride. So I skip that. So for all new beginners, I believe that if I can do that, you can do that as well.
Yeah, I suppose the good thing about the Mekong Delta and I think southern Cambodia is it's quite flat at least, so there shouldn't be many hills. But how could non-cyclists, if somebody can't do the ride or doesn't want to do the ride, how could they get involved or contribute to You Go Far 2025?
The first thing I would say, we would be grateful if you can share the information. If you cannot try, you can still share to your friends who might be interested in and help us to spread the works. And yep, and if you could make a donation to the ride in general, doesn't need to be specifically for any rider. That can be a great encouragement for the riders together, something even very small for us to celebrate together at the end of a tiring cycling day.
So I guess looking beyond the rest of this year, what do you, or Saigon Children, or you personally hope to achieve with Yugo moving forward?
The Hugo team in the US actually is very ambitious, with a very ambitious goal to be able to support more young female students to access to university education. So we share the same with them. So looking ahead, my hope is quite simple but ambitious to support more girls and support them more fully. So as I shared earlier, Hugo and also Saigon Children ourselves here, we try different ways, explore more opportunities to provide more category service training that will help to equip girls with the skills needed for their employability later on. So we will continue to work
Mm,
on that. We want to support more girls and support them more fully. So that means expanding scholarship. So no talented young woman has to give up their education because of finance. And yeah, of the support beyond that, mentoring, life skill, leadership training, career readiness, so the girls can grow confidence and giving back to their communities. Yep. So, and importantly, I hope that we can keep reaching out more to those who need it the most, the one in the most vulnerable situation, who might otherwise be
mhm,
overlooked. And talking about all of these things that we want to offer to the girls beyond tuition. If anyone can come up with an idea based on their expertise uh, mm, and willing to share with the girls, can reach out to us as well. Usually, we can organize a mentoring section and career exploration, so the girls
mm,
they can be exposed to a more wide range of careers. Is that up just like something very basic and close to their daily life, usually into roles such as like teaching, doctors, and a lot of people we are talking about it, all the STEM, AI, how it change the world, how it change the work in the future. But a lot of the, as far as we know, are not going to study STEMs majors because different things. It started very early when it was a kid,
mm.
and some say like I'm not suitable to that, or that is not for girls. And yeah, so that's why we try to give the girls
Right.
the exposure to different careers more in STEM because we know that it we own. I believe most of us agree that would be that kind of like the future for the jobs. Yep. So if you have an ideas and expertise that you are willing to share,
Sure.
reach out to us. We would appreciate that as well.
Yeah, of course. And I guess kind of final question. I mean, I know your work, of course, focuses on in Vietnam. But you've got a little bit of experience in Cambodia now, and Cambodia, of course, is less developed than Vietnam. You know, it's not quite as advanced economically yet, at least. Of course, there are people in need in Vietnam. But do you see kind of what in the scholars you've met? Do you see differences in kind of the needs between young women in Cambodia and Vietnam?
Actually, it was quite interesting because when we meet with more scholars, so just to clarify, we don't work with them directly. We still focus our work in Vietnam. So the work in Cambodia is by another Yugo partner. But the chance to meet with the scholar over there, I see it's quite similar. Like the struggle quite similar, the issue quite similar, and the girls, the energy, the vibes are quite similar. So I think that is the kind something that connect all of the scholars and all of the partners as well. So not only in Cambodia, but like because you will right now is having partners in different countries. And whenever we get together for planning of whatsoever, we figure out that it's quite similar. Like all of the challenge girls are facing, maybe more or less at different countries, but they are quite the same one.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Um, well, Vaughn, thanks so much for taking some time out of your morning. I'm sure there's a lot going on over there as always, and hopefully your preparation for the ride in a couple months is going well. Again, I'll be sure to share contact information and some more details in the show notes when this goes online. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing a bit of your story and your work.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's also our pleasure to joining the show today and have a chat with you. I hope that can give people a bit more interesting interest in the ride, and I hope that we can welcome more people to try us this year.
Yeah, hope so too. Thanks again. That's it for this episode of the Vietnam Weekly podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate or review the show on your preferred podcast platform and share it with anyone who may be interested. And see you next time.